congressional investigators about the Russian probe. Steve Bannon appeared before the House Intelligence Committee and just pissed everybody off. He had agreed to this meeting. Okay, so, well, you know what? Let me let Adam Schiff explain to you how this happened and why everyone was so upset. Representative Adam Schiff, of course, is a part of this. He was leading this questioning. Listen to how he described this course of events with Steve Bannon under direct order from the White House to not answer very specific questions. And look at the specificity of which questions he was told not to answer. Listen to Schiff.
And then he refused to answer a broad range of questions concerning any meeting, conversation, or discussion that took place either during the transition or while he was with the White House, and a significant set of conversations that may have taken place even after he left the White House. So we served him with a subpoena during the hearing to convert it from a voluntary appearance to a mandatory one. His counsel then went back to the White House and came back to us was essentially the same gag rule from the White House, which is they've been instructed not to answer anything during those time periods.
Mr. Bannon was willing to testify before the committee. That was the representation of counsel, that he was not choosing to decline answering these questions on his own accord, but rather because he was acting under the instructions of the White House. Counsel did make it clear that he had informed a lawyer for the majority. Now that came as news to, I think, all of the rest of us in the room. But nonetheless, they insisted on following the advice of the White House and refused to answer this very broad set of questions.
Now, in case you didn't understand what Schiff just said, basically, in this 6 hours of closed-door talks, Steve Bannon didn't answer the majority of the questions. Specifically about his time during and right after the campaign, and whilst being part of the administration. While in this meeting, his lawyers would step out of the room, call the White House, get their marching orders, and come back in the room. I'm not kidding. This is a direct obstruction of justice. However, interestingly enough, Steve Bannon did offer a bit of information that was not previously offered with this line of questioning. He refused to tell the Intelligence Committee about his time in the White House, but he had, according to those familiar, at least 4 sources with direct knowledge of this interview that happened on Tuesday. He had a big slip-up, whether intentional or not. When you look at this guy and his work thus far with, attempting to normalize white supremacist terrorists with this propaganda rag, Breitbart, he's savvy. And that's why the president hired him, because he's media savvy. You say what you want about him, oh, he's sloppy Steve, Of course, he's a white supremacist sympathizer. He's made a lot of money off of promoting fear and hatred, of course. But he's savvy. He understands certain parts of this game. So based on these 4 sources, Bannon told investigators that he had spoken with other senior White House staffers about the June 2016 Trump Tower meeting between Don Jr., campaign chairman, then campaign chairman Paul Manafort, who's now currently under house arrest after being indicted, and Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of the President of the United States. This meeting was with a Russian lawyer, and the auspices, allegedly, was to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. Now, Jared Kushner initially said that this was about, this is just about adoption. But what Bannon did, in speaking to this investigator and verifying that he spoke to other senior White House officials, was create a web of information. All of these folks know about this meeting now, according to Bannon. Those folks were placed in the room at this point. Manafort was there. Kushner was there. Don Jr. was there, talking to this Russian lawyer, trying to get information. Whether or not this lawyer was a plant from the Russian government remains to be seen, but based on what this Russian lawyer did before this meeting at Trump Tower with Trump's son and Trump's son-in-law and Trump's campaign advisor, safe to say that certain members of the Russian government had some knowledge that this meeting was happening. as it happened in June of 2016. That one bit of information could potentially lead to some serious repercussions when it comes to folks being charged. And certainly points to top-level individuals in the White House with knowledge of this meeting before, during, and after it happened. That's according to Steve Bannon, who, according to Adam Schiff, didn't answer most of the questions, except that one. Very important. Bannon now sets up the scope of this meeting, whereas who knew what and when. This could go all the way up. And it should go all the way up, folks, because if you really believe that the president had no knowledge of a meeting with a Russian lawyer to obtain information to sink his opponent, being attended by his son, who bears his name, and his son-in-law, who he maybe wishes was his son, and his campaign advisor, Paul Manafort, who lived in Trump Tower, mind you, who lived in Trump Tower while working for the Ukraine, doing such shady stuff that his daughters, message back and forth that they believe that he may be responsible for the death of people. If you really think the president doesn't know these things are going on, I mean, he did pass that cognitive exam. He might not be obese, but according to his doctor, he did pass that cognitive exam, right? So we can't use this excuse that, he's just a political rookie, or he may have dementia. According to his doctor, he's well and good and fine. But if you really think that, then there's probably no hope for you. But it's very interesting to see where this investigation goes next, and it's not dead, despite what the president's Twitter account says. 228-896-9455. We'll be back.
It's about that time to get away. Make your reservation, pack your bags, and head on down to the coast. The Alabama